name is Tori Lewis, and today I'll be explaining what photosynthesis is, how it works inside plant cells, and why it is so important for life on Earth. Understanding photosynthesis is essential because it is one of the most fundamental biological processes that allows most life on Earth to exist. Photosynthesis is a process that allows plants to make their own food. During this process, plants use carbon dioxide from the air, water from the ground, and energy from sunlight to produce something called glucose, which is its food source. As a result of this chemical reaction, the plant also releases oxygen, which is the reason all other organisms are able to breathe. This makes photosynthesis both a source of energy for plants and a provider of oxygen for nearly all living things. Inside plant cells, photosynthesis takes place in an organelle called the chloroplast. Chloroplasts have a double membrane and contain various structures that help carry out this process. One of the most important structures in the chloroplast is the thylakoid, which is stacked into formations called grana. Thylakoids contain chlorophyll, the green pigment responsible for absorbing the sunlight that powers photosynthesis. When chlorophyll absorbs light energy, it becomes energized and starts a chain of reactions. This energy is used to produce two important energy molecules, ATP and NADPH. These molecules are store energy and will later be used to help build glucose. ATP and NADPH then move into an area of the chloroplast called the stroma, which contains the enzymes responsible for assembling glucose using these energy-rich molecules. Photosynthesis takes place in two major stages, the light-dependent and the light-independent reactions. The first stage is called the light-dependent reactions and occurs in the thylakoid membranes. During this stage, chlorophyll absorbs sunlight and uses that energy to split water molecules into oxygen, electrons, and hydrogen ions. The oxygen produced is released into the atmosphere as a waste product, and although it's considered a waste product, it is how humans and animals breathe. The electrons and hydrogen ions travel through protein complexes in the thylakoid membrane, helping to generate ATP and NADPH. These molecules then carry the stored energy to the second stage of photosynthesis. The second stage is the light-independent reaction, which is also called the Calvin cycle. These reactions take place in the stroma and do not require direct sunlight, although they depend on the ATP and NADPH produced in the first stage. In the Calvin cycle, carbon dioxide is taken and gradually converted into glucose through a series of enzyme-driven chemical reactions. This glucose can then be used immediately for energy or stored in the plant for later use. Photosynthesis has had a major impact on the global ecosystem in many different ways. First, it forms the base of the food chain. Plants and certain other organisms create their own food, and herbivores rely on these plants and organisms for energy. Then, carnivores eat the herbivores, meaning that every level of the food chain depends either directly or indirectly on photosynthesis. Secondly, photosynthesis produces oxygen, which is what almost all organisms need to survive. Without the constant production of oxygen by plants, algae, and some bacteria, life on Earth would be drastically different, as most species, including humans, would not be able to survive. Another important impact of photosynthesis is its role in removing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Plants absorb CO2 during photosynthesis, which helps reduce greenhouse gas levels. This contributes to climate regulation by slowing the rise of global temperatures. In addition, plants that perform photosynthesis support biodiversity by providing habitats and maintaining stable environments where many kinds of organisms can live together. In summary, photosynthesis is not just a process that helps plants make their own food. It is a global system that supports nearly all life on Earth and produces the oxygen we breathe, removes harmful carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, provides energy for food chains, and maintains a balanced and healthy environment. Without photosynthesis, life on our planet would be almost unrecognizable, as most organisms would not be able to survive.